Welcome to today's 2-minute sales tip with Tim. Let's talk about discovery because to me, discovery is one of the most important but often overlooked parts of the selling process. And it's unfortunate because most salespeople today have really never been taught how to conduct a proper discovery conversation, which means they've never been properly taught how to ask really good discovery questions. Most salespeople I'm around today are asking questions that are really focused on need, budget, time frame, fit, decision-making process. Oh my gosh, those are earth-shattering questions that nobody else is asking. You want to get better at discovery, get better at asking really great questions. How do I know whether or not it's really a great question? Three criteria only. Criteria number one, your discovery question should be more open than closed. Are you going to ask closed questions? Of course you are. You want to pride yourself on the ability to ask open questions. And footnote, closed questions are more than yes/no questions, right? If you ask me, gee, Tim, where are you from? That is a closed question because there's only one way I can answer that. So we want to make sure that we ask big open questions that give our customer, our prospects a lot of latitude to tell us what's going on and to really engage in a meaningful conversation. Criteria number two, we want to make sure that we're asking questions that are unique and thought-provoking. Do we want to know about need, budget, time frame, fit, decision-making process? Of course we do, but we want to ask our questions in a unique way. Because when we ask our questions in the same way everybody else is asking them, they're going to treat us the same way they're treating everybody else. And that's not what I want. And I also want to make sure that my questions are thought-provoking. When I ask a discovery question, I want my prospect to sit back and go, wow, that's a pretty good question. We hadn't thought of that before. We hadn't been asked that before. So make sure that your questions are unique and thought-provoking. And criteria number three, try to ask your questions by giving some context as to why you're asking the question. Too many salespeople today just fire off question after question after question after question, and it begins to feel a little bit like an interrogation, like I'm going to get manipulated. When you ask with context, you're communicating to that customer, hey, here's the reason I'm asking that question, right? This is why it's important to me. I've heard others refer to this as priming the question. Let me give you an example from my world, and I'm confident you can translate it to your world. If I'm talking to a sales leader, I could ask a question like, hey, what initiatives or plans do you have in place to help your sales team improve their follow-up skills? Okay, that is an open question and it's somewhat unique and thought-provoking, but there's zero context, right? If I'm asking you that question, you're like, why are you asking me this question? So let's put some context around that exact same question. Hey, a recent study in the Harvard Business Review reports that 80% of new opportunities today require at least 5 failed attempts to connect. Yet over 80% of salespeople report that they give up just after 3 unsuccessful tries. Let me ask you a question. What plans or initiatives do you have in place to help your sales team capitalize on this opportunity? Completely different question. Right now, the customer's like, wait a minute, tell me more. Where was this study at? And what do you mean? What are 5 unsuccessful attempts? And why are most salespeople giving up after just 3? Now I'm showing up and I'm asking questions like a true partner and not asking questions like a simple peddler. So you want to improve your sales game, improve your ability to conduct a proper discovery. And you do that by asking questions that are open, not closed. You do that by making sure you're asking questions that are unique and thought-provoking. And you do that by making sure that your questions always begin with context. My name is Tim Wackel. Thanks so much for watching.